I do not own the rights to this music. Again, I do not own the rights to this music. What's up, family? What's up? What's up? What's up? This is Juan J. Johnson coming at you live with the real talk, real issues, real solutions. We have a lot to unpack on tonight. A lot. I will bring you in on split screen if you want to come in live with me. I'm gonna be very raw tonight, very, very raw, because this topic is just that serious. That song you just heard was That song actually was produced in 1991. What's up, Will? What's up, John? What's up, Damone? What's up, Fabian? What's up, KC? Gabino? That song that you heard was actually produced in 1991. The song is called Stop the Killing. Stop the Killing. Okay. Back in about 91, 93, we had what you had was PAC. It was called People Against Civic Terror. I came out of Free Gospel Ministries right there on that corner of Crowell Hills and Marlboro Pike, the big old church in the corner. This song you just heard me open up with was the theme song some 28 years ago. As a matter of fact, this song came out in 91. We had the LA riot in 92 when they whipped Rodney King ass in 92. So 92 up until now, 2019, will be 27 years. We are 27 years away from Rodney King getting beat up on television by 4 race soldiers. Because I'm going in tonight. I'm going all in tonight. I'm going to make some enemies. I'm going all in tonight. Because I'm at the place right now, and you guys know I did 20-something years in law enforcement. And for me, someone who did law enforcement for 20 years, is going to come to you tonight and tell you, you can no longer trust the police. You can no longer call the police. You can't call them no more. They just can't. You can't. And I'm gonna give you this. I'm gonna give you the reasons why you no longer should, as a black male or as a black female, unless you see a body outside dead or some type of, I'm talking about a situation that is so bad that you need police assistance. I don't know if I would call the police if I was you. Black males, I don't know if I would call the police if I was you. I'm not. I would not suggest it. I would not suggest it. It was at 28, almost. Yes, sir, Robert. 29 years ago, this song, Stop the Killing, and it is as relevant then, now. Stop the Killing was a theme song for PAC, People Against Civic Terror. You know, because it was like it was then, the same thing going on now. Look, watch this. This song came out in 91. The LA riots came out in 92. My brother got killed. My brother, who inspired me to become the police, got killed in 93. We marched in D.C., I think around about 94, 95, for the PAC against the violence. And now we're 27 years later, and the violence is like it was when I first came on the force back in the early 90s. The violence in our neighborhoods was as bad as it was then, now. But I'm not going to deal with that violence today. I want to be very intentional. I want to be very specific. I want to deal with police officers in the black community. Police officers shooting black women and black men. Okay? Because I think that, again, we must change this paradigm. We've got to be honest with ourselves. We've got to be honest with ourselves. The one thing I know when I pledged and I took that oath as a police officer, like all police officers do, it is not to protect and serve. Number one. You don't swear to nothing that says protect and serve. You swear to the oath that I will defend the Constitution against foreign and domestic enemies. Foreign and domestic enemies. If you're in the military, if you're the police, you swore to protect the Constitution against sworn and domestic enemies. Now, who's a domestic enemy? Anybody who comes up against the Constitution on this soil, on American soil, because you're domestic. This is our soil. Foreign is when you go across seas or to another country, but you are defending the Constitution against foreign and domestic enemies. So how does that play into this present day siege? This present day siege that we're under as black men and black women in America. Again, let me start off with this. If you want to write me first, do JUANJOHN29@gmail.com. You know I'm a firearm instructor. Teach guns. If I can't teach you, I know somebody else who can. You need teaching. I'm probably one of the few people who actually come on lives or come out and actually tell you to come do some firearms instructions. Get your guns. I'm an advocate of the guns. I believe in the Second Amendment. Okay? I believe in the right to bear arms. I believe in defending myself, my family, my community, and my culture. Okay? Period. If I can defend this country, and still will defend this country because I live here. I'm not letting nobody, no Russians, no Afghanistans, no Indians, no Asians come in here and think they can just talk to me any old way or disrespect. Because, again, as I've always said, and I continue to say, before the soil of this country says one word, it coughs up the blood of my ancestors and yours. So don't let these people who haven't made a blood covenant with the soil. See, we've made foundational black Americans, Native African Americans, American descendant slaves, whatever you want to call yourself, Negro, nigger colored. We've made a covenant with the blood, with the soil. So yeah, I'm American all day. I'm one of those, in the eyes of white people, per se, we're illegitimate children. We're the illegitimate. The black children are the illegitimate. We're the illegitimate sons of the Confederacy, of the Republic. Because, you can't have all these buck-breaking farms, all these masters' land with our great-great-great-grandmothers and aunties and producing all these mixed children. Like I said, look, I'll be the first to say this. As black as I am, I got some white somewhere in my lineage. Because somebody done tiptoed through the tulips and raped one of my ancestors. You know what I'm saying? So I know if you've been here for any length of time like myself and can trace your lineage back to the 1800s and 1700s, we all got a little something in us. So we're not fully African. We are African. We are Native African Americans. We are foundational Black Americans. We have so much to be proud for because, again, in the bigger scheme of things, family, in the bigger scheme of things, we, foundational Black Americans, or Native African Americans, or ADOS, whatever you want to call yourself, we are the most ancient people right now in the world because this new world we live in right now is a world of colonialism. We're still under colonialism, where the white folks are still running things, a colonial system. And every time they see us, every morning they see us, they are reminded that we're the most ancient people right now walking this earth, and that is the foundation of Black Americans. Because we are the last vestiges of, we are the reproach, the residue of slavery. And that's why they don't never want to deal with this issue, because it's a painful situation to know that your most loyal, faithful child, that you still disrespect and bring others in here and will give them the very things that you should be giving to us. But you expect us to just continue to make concessions while we see you give everybody else all the goods, all the stores, all the loans, all the grants, and you give us nothing. But that day is over. On this 400-year acknowledgement, according to your history, 1619 to 2019 is 400 years of oppression. Jamestown, okay? 400 years started in Virginia, according to your history. And from 1619 to 1863 was legalized slavery free slave labor, free wealth at our expense. And from 1863 to 1963 was 100 years of legal Jim Crow. I'm talking about legal terrorism. In 1919 to 2019, there's 100 years of Red Summer. You need to type in Red Summer 1919, and you're going to see that hundreds of black people were killed legally. Homes were destroyed. Lands were taken. People were lynched, castrated. Our people. Just 100 years ago, family. Just 100 years ago. 1919, 2019 was legal Jim Crow. So, with that said, I'm gonna get raw tonight, and I'll bring you in. And I know I got some police officers on here too. I got some police officers on here. We have some judges and some lawyers. Let's have this conversation. Let's unpack this, because we need to deal with this whole. Can black people trust the police? Can the black community trust the police? Anytime you got the one, when you step out this door of your house, if you're gonna make it back home, or if you encounter the police, are you gonna make it back home alive? That says you can't trust them. Family, let's deal with reality. We just had Botham Jean's hearing this month. He got killed last year. Okay? A white police officer, female, killed an unarmed, innocent black male in his apartment. And she went to court, dyed her hair, said those three most powerful words that all black folks want to hear from white people. I am sorry. Shed some tears. She got 10 years. 10 years for killing an innocent black man. Okay? Then that following week, that following week, we had a black woman. Atatiana Jefferson, up at 2:30 in the morning with her nephew. The nephew hanging out with the auntie. They playing video games. A concerned citizen, a concerned neighbor calls the police for a check the welfare. Possible open door, but a check on the welfare, because he wasn't too sure about, the door being open this late in the morning. And I'm going to deal with that, because I think that this is how you know we're not connected. Because he didn't call for a burglary. He just called for a check for the welfare. And then the police show up. And instead of him going to the door, he wants to canvass the house. See a shadow, allegedly, out the window. Does not identify who he is. Does not give a name or nothing. Takes the shot. Not knowing who he was shooting on the other side of that window. Come find out. A female. A legal resident of the house. So look, we're talking about in 1 month, because this month ain't even over yet. We've had two high-profile, a jury trial, and then we've had a high-profile female who's 28 years old. Now, mind you, this is like maybe my first real time talking about this case, because I'm not one of those knee-jerk reactionaries. You guys, if you follow me from any length of time, you know I've been on this black piece for a minute now. And I had to make sure that Tatiana's parents or kin was not going to pull that same trick that Botham Jean's family did. What was that? I forgive, hugging in the court, I had to make sure because, again, if you're going to forgive before you get justice, then I'm not going to say nothing about it. But I got video of the father saying out his own mouth, I'm not doing what the bottom James did. Nah, I need to see me some justice. When I got that video, I said, now it's time for me to talk about this. It's time for me to talk about this. Because I wasn't going to say too much about this. Because, look here, I've already said this over and over again, family. We are under siege. We are at war. And yes, there are some good police officers out there. But this ain't about the good ones. This is about, is the black community under attack? And is the police department our enemy? Is the police department our enemy? Is the police department our enemy? We've got to answer that question. If you have second thoughts about calling the police, or if you're scared that you may not make it home from an encounter with the police, that speaks to something that speaks to an entity being your enemy. Do you hear what I'm saying, family? We can't look. Yes, we got some family, we got some friends who are police officers now. Okay, and I don't want to use a whole broom. I don't use a whole brush. But at the same time, from Maine to California, black people are afraid to be pulled over by the police, not knowing if they're going to see the next day. Because it's not about just being pulled over, locked up. We're talking about Tamar Rice. A concerned citizen called and said there's some kids playing in the park with some guns. Instead of them checking to see if it was a plastic gun, a water gun, the police came out the car and started shooting Tamar Rice. And it was a fake gun. Okay? You got this situation right here. You know, we've got the Atatiana Jefferson, a 28-year-old sister. Okay? Foundational black American. Because there is a big difference from, here it is. One of the biggest difference between Tatiana's situation, family, and Botham Jean, at least with the Jeans, you know, they're from St. Lucia. They haven't been fighting this beast like we've been fighting this beast. I want to salute every foundational black American under the sound of my voice right now. I want to salute every ADOS under the sound of my voice, every Native African American, whatever you consider yourself. I want to salute you right now, because maybe unbeknownst to you, you don't know that you've been in a war since you've been here. And although we have coexisted with this beast, with this system of racism, white supremacy, we've been fighting this thing every day. Others will come here and try to embrace it without knowing that once you come here from another country and you got skin like me, you consider a part of that black tribe. You know, you're part of that foundational black American tribe, which is what we have done. We've embraced everybody. Okay? But I've said before, when things are going good for others, they pull their flags out. Where they from? When things are going bad, they just let us absorb everything. So again, I want to take my hat off to Tatiana's father, Mr. Jefferson, for basically, you know, saying, I want to see me some justice. But we, as foundational black Americans, must ask the question, has the police, or is the police the enemy to the black community? You got to answer that question. Because again, I don't even feel safe about calling, I personally do not feel safe about calling the police for nothing, except for something very, very major. Other than that, I don't feel safe. Because how often when we call the police and we're the victims and they get on the scene, we become the suspect. Think about it. How many times you read, well, you know what, you the one that's calling, especially you black, a black male who's in some type of domestic situation, and next thing you know, he calling for some help. The police get there, he in cuffs, he on the ground. So we've got to be honest. We've got to be honest with ourselves, family. So that's why, again, I got police officers on this thread, on this. I got a lot of police officers on here. You are welcome to come in. Just hit the little split screen on your phone or on your computer, and we can have this conversation. Marshall, I know you the police. I know quite a few police officers on this feed. I know that some of you guys are still on the force, and you can't say nothing per se. But I'm not, and I'm gonna say it. Cause look here, watch this. When you off duty, whether you're a police officer, a lawyer, or a judge, and you get the blue lights behind you, red lights, you don't know who you about to encounter. You don't know who done had a bad day. And watch this. I've always said this. The reason why you don't hear about police officers going postal, like the post office, because they already got the guns on them. So instead of police officers going postal, you know what they do? Police officers don't go postal because they just get mad and go on the street and take out that venom, that hostility, that anger on the civilians instead of on that boss or that co-worker who done betrayed them. Trust me, there's a lot of betrayals on the police department. It's a lot of competition on the police department. It's a lot of envy. It's a lot of strife. Do not think that all these folks are on the same page. They are not. And the higher you go, the more sinister, the more jealous, the more wicked they become. That's probably one of the reasons why I didn't promote it, because you know what? I'm already, you can't do no worse to me than being an officer, but just get rid of me. You know, I ain't got to worry about being demoted, transferred, reassigned. No. I can stay the little lowly officer, speak my words, speak my piece. What you gonna do? You gonna fire me? That's the last thing you can do, unless you put me on suspension. But do not think, civilians, do not think that that we're all on the same page. We already know that every police department, from Maine to California, has been infiltrated by white supremacist organizations. The FBI has already said that. Type in FBI, white supremacists invades police departments nationwide. That is fact. We already know that there are police officers to this day who have never really had contact with black people. And what happens is, because they don't have contact with black people, they're scared. I don't care how many months of the academy you have, whether you have 3 months, 6 months, 5 months, 10 months. The academy does not train you to deal with culture. Okay? It doesn't. I mean, you get a culture shock when you got to go out there and see black folks you ain't never had contact with. Okay? You've never had contact with. You've never even seen before. Some folks have never seen no black folks. We have pockets of people in America who've never had contact with black folks, but they took these jobs in our neighborhoods and they trying to patrol us from a white supremacist perspective. Because look here, at the end of the day, we must realize this, in the bigger scheme of things, that look, America has always been a white country. I pulled up the population chart, the census for America. Let me see. Computer running slow. Yeah. Okay, I pulled up the census. And America is still, no matter, okay, so what, we're 14% of the population, black people? So you're talking about we are about 45 million. If you type in the census, world population census, 2019 is 329,682,462 people in America, according to the census. 329 million people in America, according to the Census Bureau. And we're only 14% of the population. Who's they? Native African Americans, black people, foundation black Americans. So out of 329 million, we're only 45 million, 13%. 13%. Okay? But watch this. But when it comes down to race and policing and us people and blacks getting killed, we are being killed 2.5% faster than anybody else. I just pulled the numbers up. Go to, I'm gonna give you everything I got so you can see. This is August 6, 2019. New research says about race and policing shootings. This is go to citylab.com. It says in the U.S., African Americans are 2.5 times more likely to be killed by the police than white people. Okay? In the U.S., African Americans are 2.5 times more likely to be killed by police than white people. For black women, the rate is 1.4 times more likely. So although we're not the largest in group, but as far as getting killed, 2.5 times more likely to be killed. I can pull up the statistics right now. The Washington Post article right now, updated October 18th. It says just this year alone, 717 people have been shot and killed by the police in 2019. Say this again. 717 people have been killed by the police in 2019. It's only 365 days in a year, family. It's only 365 days in a year. You're averaging maybe 2 a day. Okay? Watch this. This is the Washington Post. Look it up. Washington Post. Washington Post. Okay? California has had 102 people killed by the police. California. Alabama 8. Alaska 6. Arizona 27. Arkansas 16. Colorado 24. Connecticut 5. DC 1. Delaware 1. Florida 40. Georgia 25. We're talking about police officers who have killed civilians, not just black. Okay? Hawaii 4. Indiana 13. But again, we're talking about 717 people killed by the police this year. So you got to ask the question, are we under attack? Watch this. Gender, 682 have been males. 34 has been females. Okay? 214 have been white. But watch this now. Remember, America is 300 million people. So it's more white folks in America than blacks. So if 214 whites have been killed, right? 148 blacks have been killed. And we're only 14% of the population. I mean, we're only 14%. Okay? 121 Hispanics have been killed. And then they had 25 for others, and then they had 209 for unknown. Couldn't make out the body. Okay? But watch this. If 214 white people have been killed by the police this year, and 148 black people, right? And 121 Hispanics, why the hell you ain't heard about the Latinos and the white folks being killed? Why? How come you ain't been told that Latinos and white folks are being killed by the police? The perception is that black crime, black on black crime, or or police officers killing blacks. See, we got to unpack this thing because here's what I'm seeing right now. You know, the elephant in the closet or in the room has always been foundation of black Americans. Okay? We're the most hated, but the most imitated. You know what I'm saying? You know, Latinos, what, 121? So you're talking about 8 from 7 to 20, 27. So we only got the Latinos beat by 27 bodies just this year. How come you're not seeing them on the news? You're not seeing them on. You're not seeing the gang violence. You're not seeing the shootings from. You're not seeing other people's crimes. I've always said this, and I'm gonna keep saying this. When you don't control the media, you don't control the narrative. We don't own the radios. We don't own the televisions. We don't own the print. Okay? So crime to America is white and black. There is no middle. It's white or black. Or better yet, it's just black. Because you rarely hear about white crimes. All your news, your local and your national news, they always highlight black crime. So you're thinking that trying to make us the enemy, the boogeyman, uncontrollable, unpredictable, but it's not us. It's not us. But I want you to look this up. Check it out. This is in the Washington Post. It was just updated October 18th. The article is people have been, and these are Washington Post, people shot by the police in 2019. And it comes up. It's got 2018, 2017, 2016, and 2015. They get stats from this year back to 2016. And actually, last year, it was 900. 900 people were shot in 2018. 2017, 900 more. Okay? So they're averaging almost 1,000 people being shot every year by the police. Okay? So again, the question is this. Can black people trust the police? And I'm going to tell you no. We cannot trust the police. You cannot trust the police. We cannot. And look here, watch this. We have to look at this whole Atatiana Jefferson piece. Because again, I made a comparison that Rodney King got whooped by the police in '92, and LA exploded. But LA exploded. The nation was upset. Okay, so from 1992 to 2019, which is only 27 years, we can now see a black woman being killed on television and do nothing. We had more rage. We had more passion. We had more anger after seeing 4 white officers take out their billy clubs and was swatting Rodney King, whooping Rodney King ass. Right? That's 1991. So now, 27 years later, we can literally see body cam of the police with his lights kill one of us. Tamar Rice, killed by the police. We can see Eric Gardner being choked out in a illegal chokehold, family. And hear the man's last words. I can't breathe. I can't breathe. We literally watched this man get killed on television. We can watch Fernando Castile. Fernando Castile. Tell the brother, tell the police officer, officer, I'm on. I got a gun. Okay? Tell him. Reach for his license. And the police open up on him in front of his girlfriend and the baby. And we watched this man coughing up blood. We watched this man. We watched this, the blood soil his shirt. We listened to the little baby in the background, just fearful for her life. His girlfriend. I mean, the calmness that she had under pressure of witnessing her man, her fiance getting killed. And then they throw her and the 4-year-old in the transport. And the baby is consoling the mother. It's going to be okay, Mom. It's going to be okay. Come on, family. We can no longer play with this. We can no longer play with this and walk around and act like that the police is our friends. We have some friends on the police department. We have some family on the police department. But as a collective, they not our friends. They not our friends. Ain't no black man on this feed right now can tell me, and y'all need to share this video. I need you to do a watch party. I need you to share this video. I need you to like it. I need you to subscribe on YouTube. I need you to, okay? I need you to. Because we have to have this conversation. Look, with 717 bodies this year, okay? Deaths by police officers, okay? And I gave you the stats. You know, 148 black people have been killed by the police this year. Okay? The police nationwide is not our friend. And I mean that. The police, look here, let me be very clear. I'm not just talking as a person who did law enforcement for 20-some years. Many of you know, I've shared my story. I am or was a victim of police brutality. Many of you know my story. That I was assaulted by a member of the police department dressed like, looking like this. Okay? Let's be very clear. You type in my name against the District of Columbia, and you're gonna see the public transcripts. You see the transcripts. Okay? And I went to court and I sued the Metropolitan Police Department for excessive force. Jeffrey Bruce is still in the department, was probably never disciplined at all. The department and myself reached a settlement, and we settled outside because the chief, Lanier, had just become the chief, and somebody put a bug in her ear. You got a white officer and a black officer in district court, and the black officer is suing the white officer for excessive force, which he did, and they settled the case. I'm not speaking from, look, I'm speaking from another place, okay? And I got assaulted back in 2000, July 23rd, 2000, mistaken for a drug boy, okay? And got stomped out, had to have surgery. I know what I'm talking about. Pee and blood, hello, yeah. Look, you getting it raw. So, and look, watch this. I came back. Mentally, I wasn't right for a minute. You talking about scared of the police and the police? You can't trust the own department you work for? It took a minute for me to gain any type of trust for these jokers again. Because I know, watch this. Because I know what they are capable of. See, I know how they operate. Even at the higher echelons, at the executive level. I've worked for executives. I've worked for chiefs. The Beeb. Monroe's. I mean, I'm talking about working side by side. I'm talking about working with them, for them, okay? I did the whole clergy, CPCP, clergy police community partnership. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, look here, look here. I know this police thing. I don't talk about it because I'm so far removed from it. I'm so far removed from policing. But I ain't forgot it. And I know I got information that can help you. You know, I wonder how y'all see me. You know, the stuff, for real, the information I give y'all, I should be getting an honorarium for this, or a stipend. Because look, anytime you 20 years in anything, you can speak to it. I'm 20 years to this thing. So when I'm telling you that I got assaulted, sued them, out of court, put a gag on me, and I'm gone, I can talk and say what I want to now. Came back and worked for them. It wasn't the same. Left and still seeing the carnage that we as black people are facing every day. This is why I say that we cannot trust the police department as a whole. Like I said, I got some individual friends who's doing it, and I know who they are. But as an organization, you got to realize this: policing was birthed out of bringing back slaves. Say this again. Policing in America, okay, was birthed out of bringing back slaves. I'm not talking about the first police department, Sir Robert, out of London. I'm talking about in America when they was trying to get your slave, when they was trying to get the slaves to come back who had run away. They had sworn in plantation police officers to go and retrieve slaves that had run away. Okay, because most of us, again, we have this conception that police officers are to protect and serve. And there is a little truth to that, but that's not all of it. Look, watch this. When you really understand that policing, when you're talking about protect, they're not talking about protecting you. They're talking about protecting property. Let's deal with that. Protecting property. There's a way you police in the inner city, in the urban areas, and then there's a way you police in Georgetown, Wisconsin Avenue. Okay? It's like night and day. Anybody who's policed in the urban areas do not police the same way in white neighborhoods. And you really understand policing when you start policing in those white neighborhoods. Because some of them still had this philosophy: don't knock on my front door, come around back. Facts. Okay? Or if you're black, you better have a real good reason why you're going to give a white person a ticket or you're going to lock them up. Facts. To this day, whether you're a sheriff, county, municipal, state, okay, you better have a good reason why you're putting these cuffs on these white folks versus the black folks. Okay? But again, let me not get away from, are the police our enemies? Is the police departments sworn enemies to the black community? And I'm going to say yes. I'm going to tell you why. Again, the police department, the way it's structured, they are the first line of defense. Okay? When that don't work, you call in the national. Think about what happened in Baltimore when Freddie Gray was killed in the back of a paddy wagon. His neck was severed. Say this again. His neck was severed. Okay? And Baltimore revolted, erupted. Okay? Think about that, right? So, I mean, we've got too many cases, family. We've got too many cases to remind us and to let us know that the police departments, I'm not talking about individuals, like I said, we all got some friends and some family on there, but collectively, they're not the friends to the black community. And now watch this. And when you start hiring other ethnicities who have not put no respect on our contribution to this nation, to building this nation, who don't know the history, but they become police officers, and they bought to the whole hype of being the police and protecting. I mean, think about how many brothers, how many your Asians, your Latinos, your Arabs, people who have bought into the dream without knowing our black contribution to this culture. They take this thing and run with it. Peter Ling in New York, who shot a brother, killed him. Keep getting low network. He killed an innocent black male, Peter Ling. So we've got too many cases, too many examples that the black community and the police departments, that they are the enemies. They are the enemies. And again, me, a person who did it for 20-something years, and I'm black, and there's a certain loyalty I would have with the organization, but I've got to go with facts over feelings, facts over the emotions. The fact of this: if you a woman or you a father, if you a father and you a mother, and you have to tell your son how to interact with the police, and you still get killed, it does not sound like a friend to me. It doesn't. It doesn't. No other nationality that I know of has got to prep their children that when they leave out the house, how to interact with the police. And we did everything. Raise your hand, you get killed. Answer the questions, you get killed. Walk the street, you get killed. On playgrounds, you get killed. Now we're in our houses, eating ice cream, sitting on the couch. They walk in the door, they kill you. Now we're playing with our nephews, our family members. The door's open, we're getting killed. So look, collectively, organization-wise, they are not our friends. I got police officers on this feed right now. You want to come on board? You want to say something? I'll bring you on board. We can have this conversation right now, because I'm not the only police. Look, I am not the only police officer on this feed right now. Kennedy, you used to be police, okay? Rob, Spirit Leg, you used to be the police. It's plenty of police officers on this feed, and If, if, if you want to have a discussion, because we have to have this discussion, family. Again, it's only been 27 years since Rodney King got his tail whooped. And LA went up. Okay? I'm surprised Texas ain't go up. Now, I've seen some of these city council meetings and guys wearing vests and they talking. Look, we are men before we are police officers, before we are engineers, before we are doctors and lawyers. We are not our professions. We have a mandate from the Creator, which is self-preservation. We have a mandate from the Creator to protect our own. Okay? And if we're not protecting our own, then we deserve everything we get. We can no longer wait for the police or even call them to protect our own. And I'm speaking as a man who's a gun. I'm a gun man. I'm a gun man all day. We can no longer wait for the police to get their act together, because they're not going to get their act together. We must get our acts together, which is what? We got to come together. We got the phone. We've got the phone. Look here. We've got to form relationships where if there's an open door in this neighborhood and you know this person, you should, as a male, you get on the phone, you call one of your boys. Joe, Shawty got a door open. I'm gonna go check and see she okay. Not no call no police. Not no call no police. Men, we've got to make sure our women are good. We got to find out, like we did something 30 years ago. We knew who was on the block. Who's on the block? Who's your neighbor? Who's your neighbor on both ends? The reason why people can come into our neighborhoods, because we don't know each other. We're not talking to each other. Okay? That's number one. Number one. I personally, if I knew Atatiana Jefferson and that door was cracked open like that, Joe, get my gun, call up one of the boys. Joe, it's the open door. I'm gonna go check it out, make sure she's all right. Okay? Just knock on the door. Tatiana, you there? Yeah, okay. See your door opens 2 in the morning. Just make sure you're okay. Okay. For him to have to call the police just to check on somebody who he knew, that speaks about the neglect from us. How really separated we are from each other. We've got to break the silence, break the fear, and begin to have these conversations. Begin to go beyond the fear and say, what's up? What's your name? I'm so-and-so. I live here. We've got to let people know who we are. We have missing persons and kidnappings in our community because we don't know nobody in the community. Okay? It wasn't always like this, family. It wasn't always like this. Okay? So we can, off the break, the brothers and the sisters have got to find out who's in the neighborhood. And especially if you've been living in the neighborhood for 5 or 10 years, you should know everybody on the block. If you just moved in, you make yourself available and accessible. How's that? Hi, my name is so-and-so. I just moved in. You start to form relationships. You only form relationships when you break the ice and start talking to people. We got this thing now, you know what? This independent, I don't need nobody. Just me and my children, us 4 and no more. No, Slim. That's why Jefferson, she should be here right now. We should not have to be looking to the police to save our communities. We've got too many men. And watch this. What if it never was a police department? Then what would we do if it was not a police department? Huh? we would still have to defend ourselves, defend the block, you know. So starting tomorrow, talk to a couple of your boys. Talk to a couple of your boys, your homies, your cousins, your uncles, your nephews, your crew, you know. Say, look here, we are taking back the neighborhood. How? We're gonna find out who's in the neighborhood. We're gonna find out who these women are in our neighborhoods, these children are in the neighborhoods, who's the single ones, who's the married ones. We have to take back the neighborhoods. We can't wait for the police. That's number one. Because, you know, we have to take ownership now. We have to. We can't no more, you know, look, people talking about, I heard somebody talking about training is the problem. They need to be trained. They need educations and all that. They need degrees. Let me say something as a police officer, former. Some of the scaredest police officers I know was the ones who had too much education. Some of the scaredest police officers I've come across are the ones who got all these degrees, because they've been sheltered. You know, they've been protected. Okay, and you know, you can tell they was green. They didn't have no social skills. So all these, they should have a bachelor's degrees and associate degrees. A degree don't mean nothing when you got to deal with people. Okay, yeah, take some sociology courses. You know what I'm saying? Especially if you haven't been around black people or Asian people, you know, because, you know, normally you patrol people who you're familiar with. That should be the case. But it's not always the case. Okay? So it's not so much degrees. It's not so much degrees. It's not. You know? But I'm just saying, you know, hey, Teresa, how you doing? We have got to, as black men, because I got to put the ownership on us. Because the stage is set right now for these race soldiers or these white supremacists to come inside our neighborhoods and just take them over. Because there's no men in the house. There's no men in the house. You got to see that there are no men in the house. And the stage is set for white supremacists and race soldiers to come in and take over neighborhoods. Because the soldiers are not there. And that's why we must break the ice. We got to break the ice. So whatever it's going to take, get your black book, call your boys up, call me up. Call me up. Email me, JUANJOHN29@gmail.com, and I'll come out your neighborhood, and we could put a plan in place how to lock down your neighborhood, how to make sure that y'all get your little walkie-talkies. Make sure that, you know what, you patrolling. Not just from the police, but from these predator youngins out here right now. Because it's more than just the police we got to deal with. We got these youngins out here who are off the chain, who's being harbored by these mothers who are protecting these killers. I'm going to say this again. We got mothers out here protecting killers. Most of these youngins out here doing this killing, they ain't paying no rent. They don't own no houses. We have mothers and fathers who are harboring killers. Okay? And so if we had some men in the neighborhood who could recognize, who wouldn't be afraid to, you know what, be under the radar, let his boys know, look here, this dude right here, he's shaking out, he got the guns, he got the drugs, he's the one who's terrorizing the neighborhood, then we can deal with that person. We can deal with that whole crew. Because we got crews out here called murder crews now. Murder crews. And that's what they do. Whether in D.C., Baltimore, you name it. We have a lot of, I don't want to switch my topic because I don't want to deal with that. I want to stay with this police piece. So look, again, I think again. Let me stick with this police piece because I just want. Listen, watch this. Watch this. Death by police in the black community is the sixth leading cause of death. Let me say this again. Death by police in the black community is the sixth leading cause of death. Say that again. Death by police in the black community is the sixth leading cause of death, family. You cannot tell me in good conscience that the police is our friend when the sixth leading cause of death is death by police. Look, some of y'all don't want your feelings hurt. Some of y'all want somebody to lie to you. The best thing you can do for me is tell me the truth. Because when you don't tell me the truth, then you take my options from me. So I think some of y'all need to come to the realization that you've been lied to for so long that you would rather hear a convenient lie. You want to hear a convenient lie because it pains you to have to deal with the reality that the people who you believed in to protect and look up to are the enemy. The sixth leading cause of death for black people are death by police. The fifth leading cause is cancer. Okay? Come on now. Again, anytime you have to raise your son or daughter and tell them how to interact with the police, that is not your friend. Okay? It's not your friend. Now look, I got some police officer friends on here. You want to come on? You want to come on? You want to? I mean, look at. We do a split screen right now. Kelly, you want to come on? Who else on there? Police. I know you're still on there. Rob, you want to come on? Come on. Look, there's some police officers on this. I know. You want to come on? Marshall, you want to come on? Okay. There's quite a few police officers on here. And you know I'm telling the truth. You know I'm telling the truth. So look, it'll be easier for you to accept this reality that the police are not your friend. Now that you know they're not your friend, now you can identify your enemies. Our problem is this. We have a hard time identifying enemies because we want to love everybody. Okay? But watch this. Even among nations, I'm talking about America, Japan, China, Russia, the European Union, Israel. These are nations, I'm saying now. These are nations, right? They have enemies. Japan don't care nothing for China. And right now, China wants Japan back. And Japan is soliciting America to help them fight off China's trying to take them over. Sworn enemies. Now, maybe I just need to say this. There's no such thing as permanent friends. It's just permanent interests. So maybe you can swallow that pill when you realize the police are not your permanent enemies. But over the last 5 to 6 years, I would say under the Obama administration, I know what you mean, you're talking about Obama. No, that's when the policing picked up. That's when the shootings picked up against us. Okay? And you, Joe, just pull up the stats. Just put up the Washington, pull it up, you see for yourself. Okay? Pull it up. Some of y'all are so protective of Obama. You don't want to hear the truth. You probably done shut me up. Oh, no, I can't hear that now. Man, look here. We are under attack. Look, we have sons and daughters, uncles and cousins and nephews, grandfathers who leave out the door, and you don't know if they're going to make it back home. And when the lights come down, it's almost like, back in the day they had sunset towns. You had to be in by the sunset. Just type in sunset towns. Now, sunset towns was for black people. And it's almost like that culture is being created, but it ain't being said, Because if you black and you out here at night and you get pulled over, that's like a sunset policy. Where you going, boy? Where you going? We can't even travel to West Virginia. Take a long country road travel and leave your familiar area and go somewhere else out this country and get pulled over in Louisiana on these side roads. And you black. Huh? You'd be better off taking the bus or a train. Because when you leave your comfort area, this familiar place, this DMV, and that ain't even really safe. Because certain parts of Maryland, these back roads, these windy roads, Virginia, man, come on now. You are praying to get to your destination safe. Do y'all understand the anxiety that we go through on a regular, just being black in America? Do you understand I just want to get home. When our children tell their parents they're moving to a certain location, a certain area, and if they say Virginia, we realize, oh, we're in Virginia. You talking about Arlington? I'm going down West Virginia. I'm going to Lynchburg. Lynchburg? You know what Lynchburg is? You know why Lynchburg is called Lynchburg? It wasn't because of Willie Lynch. They was lynching black folks. Come on. I'm out here Indian Head Highway. Why do you think it's called Indian Head Highway? Indian Head Highway? Old Indian Head Road? Because they put some heads on the stake to scare you. To scare us. Indian Head Highway? Come on now. Lynchburg? Come on, family. Come on. Look here. We have got to be honest. So when you start seeing the police as a collective, like the Borg, if you ever watch Star Trek, the Borg say we are one, we are many. Don't look at it from your individual person who you know that's a good person, but they're part of the collective. Okay? They are part of the collective. So as a collective, we have to change the paradigm. It's got to be a shift. We can't no longer act like that they're our friends when they're killing us. When death by police is the 6th leading cause of death. Okay? When police departments are... Look, watch this. We're talking about gang warfare. We're talking about gangs. When the police are killing like gangs, you know it's a problem. When the police are killing more black people than gang violence, watch this. When the police are killing more black people than gang violence, you know there's a problem. There's a problem, family. Okay? We've got to be honest. We've got to be honest. And this is not just for me. This is for the sisters. Because I already know the sisters are sitting ducks in their own house with no male to protect them. They are sitting ducks. Okay, sitting ducks, and with Atatiana Jefferson being killed like that, and it's almost heaven. It's like a numbing. It's like a numbing effect that's happened to us. It's like, because we were just beginning to just process the Botham Jean injustice. We were just beginning to process. We were just processing that all he got was 10 years. I mean, 10 years is what you get for manslaughter in a car accident. Say this again. 10 years is what you get for manslaughter in a car accident. And this boy got 10 years being shot by a white female, blonde hair. She wasn't even blonde. She changed her hair to blonde, blue eyes, said, "I'm sorry," showed some white tears, and she got 10 years. And then 2 days later, we hear the key witness gets killed. And we're like, wow, I mean, we hadn't even get over the injustice in the courtroom by seeing all this hugging and forgiving, and Jesus dropped the charges. And then the star witness gets killed 2 days later, that Friday, and then the following week, boom, a black woman, 28. Watch this. Watch this. Let me play something. See if I can play something. Let me play what the father had to say about his daughter. My computer moving slow. Again, I want to thank everybody for tuning in. I do. Is the police that killed Jefferson out of jail? Yes. The police that killed Tatiana, he's out of jail. Actually, he had a $200,000 bond. He only had to put up 20%. He got out for $20,000. So he been out. He's been out. And like I said, one of the reasons why I really shared this case is I wasn't gonna say nothing because I had to make sure that the family was not gonna go on no forgiving spree like the Botham Jean case. I had to make sure of that because we so quick now. They love to put the cameras in our face now and say, "Do you forgive? Do you forgive? Do you forgive?" And he said, "I'm not doing what Botham Jean said," but I'm gonna let you hear that in his own words. The father of Atatiana Jefferson. Listen to this. He said, "Unlike that Bolton John case, I don't want no hug. That's my one and only daughter." Let me see if I can play it again. Hold up.
Lab exercise 5. Jefferson going on to get a pre-med degree from Xavier University. Currently, she was working in pharmaceutical equipment sales, saving up for medical school.
She had hopes, she had dreams, she had aspirations. We've lost them for no reason. In a case like this, where you think that they would have learned from it.
Unlike this boat, I don't want no hug. That's my one and only daughter. I'll never forget it.
Again, and this is why I took this case, because I had to wait to see what the family's going to say. He said, "Unlike this Bolton John case, I don't want no hug. I want justice for my daughter." And that's why I said, you know what? That's what I wanted to hear right there. You can forgive at a later time, but don't put forgiveness for justice right now. Get your justice for your daughter. And now this case is, you got, he had to go to court, and he had to get a restraining order from other factions of the family who were trying to go forth with the funeral at Jake's church. I think this Thursday coming up. I don't know what's going down with the father and some of the other family members, but I know one thing for sure. That Lee Merritt, I'm gonna call him one of those death chasers. Death chasers. When he be, Lee Merritt, I have pulled up the GoFundMe account for Atatiana Jefferson, and right now, her GoFundMe account was created on October 13th, 2019. They are right now, they've raised $251,355. Okay, but it's managed by the death chaser, Lee Merritt. He's like one of those people, he ain't no attorney like that. He's one of those, one of those injury lawyers. The father had to sue to bring this to a stop. He said, "This is my daughter. I've already paid. I've already had insurance policy on my daughter for 20 years. I don't need this money." See, when we die, that's when the crows, scavengers come out. Okay, people who have these alternative motives, and so the judge granted him a stay. Granted him, the father, what's his name? Mr. Cup, what's his name? What's his name? Marquise Jefferson. Marquise Jefferson. This is the father's name. Marquise Jefferson is the father of Tay. We're gonna call it Tay because he calls it Tay. I'm gonna call it Tay. He had to get a stay because the family, another portion of the family, under the guidance of Lee Merritt, who's the attorney, raising money that he didn't ask for. Okay, let me tell you something. I think after that Freddie Gray case last year, I was like, when I start seeing how black people are now settling out of court settlements on the death of their children, and it's become a disturbing trend among us now that well, if one of us die, we can get $1 million or $2 million for that death. That's sick. Because again, if one of your children die, that's a legacy that's gone now. That's not just one person. That's a child who could have had a child, who could have had a child, who could have had another child. That's legacy. And we are now approaching the deaths of our children like it's a payoff. And I got so much respect for Mr. Marquise Jefferson because he said, my daughter deserved better than this. Well, and he said, I got my own, its own organization that's more educational, that can help other people who had the same desire to go into medical school. But that Lee Merritt, that death chaser, and I'm gonna say Crump, those folks who just, every time you see them, one of us done died, and they come out of nowhere trying to get that bag. It's not cool. It's not cool, family. It's not cool. My daughters already know. If something happened to me, don't chase that bag. And don't give yourself no forgiveness. And no hugging. No. Not for me. No. Get them back. Your daddy wants justice. My daughters, you see this video? Daddy wants justice if something happens. No forgiveness, no immediate forgiveness, and no hugging. I need justice. And I mean that. So look, I need you guys to take down my name, JUANJOHN 29@gmail.com. Okay? I need you to write me. And let us come together, strategize, and try to come up with plans action plans where we can bring our communities together without the aid of the police. That if we got to handle our own business, we will handle our communities, not leaving it to law enforcement. Watch this. Asians have their own crew. The Latinos have their own crew. The Russians have their own crew. The Italians have their own crew. Everybody handles their neighborhoods but us. We have surrendered our neighborhoods to the police. And it hasn't always been this way. The other communities are not doing that. The Asians, the Koreans, the Chinese, the Japanese, they are handling their own communities, and the police would be the very last resort. The Latinos, they are handling their own community. Black people, Foundation Black Americans, we must begin the process of taking back our own communities. The men, we got to do this. And I am willing, I am ready, and I'm available to come on board with you. And we can sit down. If we got to knock door to door, especially if you live in a neighborhood, and say, my name is so-and-so, I live right down the street, just want to make a connection, let you know what, you're not on this block by yourself. Because watch this, once we start going door to door and talking to people in our neighborhoods, then you're going to start seeing the needs, the people who really understand, who have some legitimate needs. A lot of people right now are on some serious struggle. They need some help. They don't have no family, no friends, nobody in the neighborhood. They don't know nobody. And that's why we must break this ice. We must break this ice. We must break this ice and begin to knock door to door. Reintroduce yourself or introduce yourself, okay? And start to have little cookouts, okay? Outside of the community cookout, invite the folks on the block, okay? And begin to fellowship, begin to talk. This is one way we're able to find out who's in the community, how many kids they got, okay, and what the needs are, okay? And then you can start establishing relationships. Look here, if something happens to you, I got my eye on your property, on your car. So we got these strange people coming in your neighborhood, strange vehicles who are kidnapping our children, or guys who mean our neighborhood some wrong. You can identify that car is not from this neighborhood. We don't know whose it is. These abandoned cars who they steal from one location and drop in your neighborhood. This is how you start paying attention and you start to connect, when you start being more watchful and you start to be more vigilant and you push beyond the fear and make the connection. Because I'm telling you right now, Tay did not have to pass away. She did not have to get killed. If it was just a check on the welfare, that brother could have had one or two people. He could have called, okay, bro, door's open. Let me go check it out. You come with me, make sure she okay. Okay? If somebody had been inside the house, you would have been within your grounds. You would have been within your grounds to stop that threat. Okay? You would have been within your ground to stop that threat, especially if she was being harmed, or kidnapped, held hostage, or something like that. So yeah, so we've got to start to bridge the gap. We've got to push beyond the fear, and we've got to start talking to one another. Black men, black men, black men, black men, black men. We have got to come together. We cannot no longer trust the police. We can't. Until their behavior to us changes. their perception of us changes. And that means I never change because, again, I mean, we're at 717 civilians killed just this year. We got what? November, December? We got 2 more months left. 2 more months. 2 more months. Okay? They're averaging 2 deaths a day. 2 people being shot a day. Okay? So that's my spiel. That's my spiel. Again, I know I got all these police officers on this feed, and can nobody come in here and help a brother out, share some information? Come on, man. Look, one thing I know about law enforcement, it's not permanent. You're going to either get fired or you're going to be retired one day. You can't do it forever. And you're going to go back to being a civilian. And you're going to have these same concerns that I'm having right now. So it's best right now to deal with these things, to deal with the situation right now. We're being slaughtered, family. I mean, some of you right now, you're afraid to go to 7-Eleven. Make it pulled over. Then what? Oh my God. You checking for your seatbelt, checking for your license. I mean, it's just the whole anxiety. Okay? That right there, thank you, Teresa. That right there should let you know that the relationship between the Native African American community or foundational Black Americans, it's a strained relationship with the police department. We have a strained relationship, and in spite of all the perfume you put over the poo-poo, you can put perfume over poo-poo all you want to. It's still poo-poo. It's still poo-poo, no matter how much perfume you put on it. Okay? Every week, this weekend, a Black male is being gunned down by the police. Okay? And we've got to address this. I mean, you mothers out here, you've told your sons, told your daughters how to interact, and with social media, we're seeing it on a regular with youngins posting videos in their cars of encounters with just race soldiers who are baiting our children to move. I mean, they're just pulling them over. I've seen at least one video every week of one of us, of one of our children being stopped by a race soldier for doing nothing. I just saw one with a guy in the passenger seat. He said, they're trying to get him to step out the car. What's your ID? He said, sir, I'm just riding with him. I ain't do nothing. Well, you got to get out the car. Well, why? What did I do? Am I under arrest? No, you're not. So why did I get out the car? You didn't take him out. The driver's out of the car, but you want the pay. Again, we're seeing it on a regular, family. And again, I think that, I mean, I don't, watch this. I don't know what else we can tell our children to do or not do, because they did everything we told them to do, and they still are getting killed. They did everything we've told them to do, and they're still getting killed. So if you're doing everything that you told to do and you're still getting killed, then the problem is not with us, it's with them. It's with them. So come to the realization that although you have some police officer friends and family members, but as a collective, the police department is not the Black community's friend. And that we have got to take our own neighborhoods back. And if you got to call the police, you call them if there's a dead body in the street, or somebody got a gun or a knife coming at you, It's got to be something very bad. Because if you caught them for like a little domestic dispute, a little argument, chances are you may see yourself on the floor. You may see yourself in cuffs. Or you may yourself be dead. I mean, it has happened to us. You call them for a domestic, and then you wind up going to jail. That's not cool. That's not cool. So just be very, 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 very careful when you decide to pick up that phone and call the police for some assistance. Because you got to know that the 6th leading cause of death for black people is the police killing us. And we are two times likely to be shot by the police. So I look. I would call them. I would not call them. I would not call them. If you can handle yourself, you handle it. Watch this. When I was coming up in them 80s and them 70s, we didn't call the police for everything. We didn't call. Look, I can remember one time the police coming to my house. It's when my parents put me out. We didn't call the police for everything. We didn't call them for nothing. We handled our own business. Stop calling the police. The police are not your personal security officers. Watch this. Even when I worked, we had sisters that was calling the police just for the kids trying to get them to go to school. That is not the police job. That's not their job. I'm telling you right now, family. You need to be very careful about calling law enforcement to your house if you're black. And I mean that. Good intentions has gotten a lot of good people killed. You may have had good intentions. Atatiana Jefferson, check on the welfare. That was good intentions. The guy did nothing wrong. And she's dead. She's dead because of good intentions. Good intentions is not always the right decision. And we know of many stories where the police was called and that loved one is no longer here. Okay? So let's keep it 100. As a collective, as a whole, those same police officers that they was used to sick them German shepherds on our forefathers in the 60s and the 50s, when they open up those water hoses, those fire hydrants, okay, when they use those billy clubs, those batons, okay, they just evolved until now they're just killing us. It's like it's open season. Watch this. I've told you before. When I was mistaken for a drug boy, okay, and that officer was about to shoot me, he was grabbing that gun so tight, that he dropped the magazine. He was gripping that grip so tight that the magazine came out. And when I thought he was going to kill me, I turned around and fell towards the ground because I did not want to get shot in the head or in the chest. When that magazine fell, when that magazine fell, and I said, that nigga, he about to kill me. And I'm giving you the sign. I'm telling you I'm the police. There's a universal sign that all police officers know, that you give it to warn other police officers that this is a plainclothes officer. There's a universal sign we give. And I'm giving you the sign, and you still about to shoot me? You better listen to me. You better listen to me. Watch this. A lot of people have asked, why do I wear black? I wear black because I feel like a judge. You know, when you're in a courtroom, the judges wear black. When you're at a gala, a very important affair, you wear black suits. I wear black shirts because I feel like I'm judging some things, that I'm saying some things that it's like a uniform. You know what I'm saying? You know, the prophets probably back in the Old Testament, they probably wore some black too. You know, those who, you know, people who run things in control, you know, put in your best, you wear black. So this is like this black to me is like me just pronouncing and showing you some things that you maybe ain't thought about. It's like a uniform for me. And I said it to say this, that I've made a decision to warn you, whether you want to accept it or not, to let you know that the police, as a collective, as a whole, they are not friends of the foundation of Black Americans. Now, I will make a disclaimer, and I will make an asterisk and say this: you may have some, I have some that I know, family, friends, I have some that I know, and they are some good ones. But as a collective, the African American community, Foundation Black Americans, we've been hunted. We've been hunted. We don't get the same courtesies as other nationalities. We don't get the same courtesy. We don't get the same consideration. It's a shoot first and ask questions later. Okay? And I mean that. So, again, I hope I said something tonight to wake you up, to disturb your comfort zone. And if you're a preacher and you're not talking about these issues to your flock, then you're not preparing them for what's about to happen. You're setting them up for destruction. And that's why you need somebody like me. It's going to tell you the truth. Because I ain't got nothing to lose. I got everything to gain. And I'm gaining this. In telling you the truth, I not only help myself, but I help you. And in the era of most people would rather hear a convenient lie than the honest truth. I'm gonna tell you the truth, because you've been lied to for too long. And this goes against all your thinking, because we love those police officers and we want to give them the benefit of the doubt. And we want to give them support. And you should and do that. But also in the back of your mind, realize this. The 6th leading cause of death in our community is death by police. And you can't make that up. We need to demand that there be more sensitivity training for police officers. You know, we need to demand that when they're in the academy, that before they, you know, a lot of them have never even been in the ghetto until they leave the academy. Then they right there, it's dropped right there on them. Boom. They need, you know what? If they can take trips to the Holocaust Museum, because a lot of police departments, especially in D.C. area, they are taking their cadets to the Holocaust Museum. Okay. You need to sponsor a trip to some of these ghettos, so they can have an idea of just what they may be about to, what they so they can get an idea. So some of them can have an idea of what they may have to come up against when they get out the academy. Okay? Because a lot of officers, when they graduate the academy and they go to their districts and they realize that what they saw on television was television, but real life is not television, they resign. They don't stay. They don't stay. They don't. Policing is very interesting. It's no job like it because, again, you have some great highs, some great lows. Let me watch this. When you're the police, you are judge, jury, and execution. Say this again. When you're the police, you are the judge, you are the jury, and executioner. Some people never make it to the jury or to a judge because you have that type of power and authority. Okay? That's a very powerful, very powerful position you have. I've always said there's no job like policing because, again, outside of your president and your elected officials, then you have the police. And the police can lock up your elected officials. And through act of Congress, they can lock up the president. Sergeant of Arms can go get him. But it's a very powerful position. And when you have members of the white supremacist organizations who have infiltrated police departments nationwide, and they are deer hunting our people, then you have to address it. You have to address that thing. You have to address it. You have to address it. Okay? You got to call it out for what it is. Okay? So, with that said, I just hope that I said some stuff today that will wake you up. That will get you to take things more serious. That you start looking at the police department differently, and you don't be calling them. I'm telling you, if you don't have to call them, call your uncles, call your brother, call your cousins, call your nephews. Because I don't want you to call that police, and then they wind up killing one of your family members, and you just wanted them to talk to your son and your daughter. I'm not trying to spread no fear. I'm saying. I'm speaking some reality. I'm speaking reality to you right now. You do not want to call them right now. I wouldn't call them. I know too many dudes I can call. So we got to handle this. What's up? We need to take care of this situation. That's what you call by taking back your own community. We need to take it back, not them, not nobody else. Okay. And with that said, I think I'm gonna leave. I think I'm gonna stop talking on that note. I've been talking for how long? I've been talking. I don't know how long I've been talking. I don't know, but look here. I want you all to like this video. I need you all to subscribe to my YouTube. I need you to also write me for self-defense or firearms training because you need it like never before. And why you still waiting on somebody to teach you why are you waiting on having guns? It's just it just blows my mind. But I think I know what it is. See, a lot of y'all are waiting on the Mach D to come or somebody to crack the sky. That's what you're waiting on. You waiting on somebody to crack the sky. You're waiting on Jesus. I know most y'all waiting on Jesus. You waiting on somebody to crack the sky to help you, to save you. You waiting on the Mach D or the Christ to come and save you. Nah, I think it's time for you to save yourself. I think it's time for you guys to realize, look here. The police are not friends to the black community, number one. Accept that reality, number one. They say confession is good for the soul. So you confess that the police are not friends to the black community. That's number one. Accept that reality right now. As a collective. Like I said, you may have some individual friends and family members, but as a whole, when you leave out your house and you get pulled over, you don't know if you're gonna be alive. If you leave this state and go travel, you don't have no control. Okay, Sandra Bland. The list just goes on and on about the folks that been killed by the police, our people. So that's number one. Number two, get with your boys, get with your family, and talk, and put in place systems where everybody knows where everybody goes. Okay? That when you leave out that house, somebody knows where you are going. That there ain't no more secrets. Because we don't want to wind up that you done get pulled over, you in somebody's jail, then you dead. And nobody know. Oh, the email address, Teresa, is juanjohn29@gmail.com. That's juanjohn29@gmail.com. That's my email address. If you want to send any size donation, you can to juanj29. Well, that should be the $ J29. Okay. That's number two. Everybody knows where everybody goes. Everybody knows where everybody goes. You don't have no time, or we don't have the luxury not to let people know where you're going. Okay? When you leave out that house. Because, again, you get pulled over for anything. Anything. And before you know it, you're locked up, or you could be dead. Okay? I mean, what? Did we just see PG County just had they just had a press conference like 2-3 days ago on a misdemeanor traffic stop, and I think the boy is crippled. He's paralyzed from the waist down now. And that little story we heard, the story they was giving, I'm like, about 3 days ago, the police did a press conference on a misdemeanor traffic stop. Okay, and the person involved in it, he's paralyzed from the waist down on a misdemeanor traffic stop. Okay? Come on, man. Come on, family. Let's stop being in denial. Let's stop being in denial with this thing. You know, they don't see us as they see us as us against them. Okay? Type in Prince George's County misdemeanor assault, and you're going to see they just had a press conference 3 days ago where a young man was on a traffic stop with the police. Something went down, and now he's paralyzed from the waist down. And the story they was giving on the television, it didn't add up. But nobody should be paralyzed from the waist down. Nobody should be paralyzed on a misdemeanor traffic stop. I'm just saying, family, we're under attack. We're under attack. We are under attack. And I'm just one who's honest enough to let you know. Now, look, I don't walk around in fear of nobody, no thing. But you need to know that you're under attack. Okay? By the same people who you believe was sworn to protect and serve you. And they're sworn to defend the Constitution from foreign and domestic enemies. And maybe the black man in America is that person who, maybe the black community is the domestic enemy. Because all you see is black crime on television. You don't see Asian crime. You don't see Latino crime. You don't see white crime. Every time you see some crime, it's always a black face, a male or female. You never see Latinos. You never see Asians. You never see Arabs. You never see Germans, Italians. The face of crime has always been the black face. Okay? That's facts. That's facts. So maybe the black man in America is the domestic enemy that we were sworn to protect against domestic and foreign enemies. Okay? So, with that said again, thank you for tuning in. I do appreciate. I hope I said something that will cause you to be more careful, and that will cause you to come together to protect your neighborhoods, your families. Get to know who's on your block. The only way we're going to protect our blocks and protect our children and protect our communities is we need to know who's on the block, who your neighbor is, who's your neighbor on both sides of you and across the street. We can no longer call the police because you could wind up dead. Do not sleep on that Atatiana Jefferson piece in Botham Jean. Don't sleep on that. That right there is a message to all of us, that we cannot, I repeat, you cannot trust the police. Coming from an ex-police officer who was saying some of the same stuff when I was doing it. I've always been pro-black, even on the force. Made a lot of enemies. Okay. And look, y'all if you've been following me for any length of time, I've been doing this for a minute. I ain't just start talking pro-black stuff. So again, thank you. You can reach me again at juanjohn29@gmail.com. I need you all to take the firearms piece serious. You need to learn how to defend yourself. I can show you some self-defense moves. I mean, yes, I had one time, look, I certified civilians to be armed police officers. I taught them self-defense, and I taught them when and how to shoot. And look, just for the record, the police ain't trained to shoot you in your arm and your leg. They're trained to shoot you in the biggest part of your body. And they're not trained to kill. They're trained to stop the threat. Okay? They shoot where the most organs are, where your most vitals are, not your arms and your legs. It's not enough for you to know your target. You must know what's beyond your target. Okay? They're not trained to kill. They're trained to stop the threat. Okay? Let's be very clear with this. So I am willing, and I'm putting myself out there to train you in how I was trained. You know, I mean, how do you turn down a brother who has 20-something years of police knowledge, who knows a little self-defense, who know how to work an asp, who know how to do hand strikes, who know how to teach you how to shoot? Okay? And you're waiting on a protector. You're waiting on somebody to save you, when he's already sent people before you that can help you out. everybody on this feed, everybody listening to the sound of my voice should have at least 3 guns, 3 weapons in their house. Because you're under attack. You should have a shotgun, handgun, rifle, whatever, to protect yourself from foreign and domestic threats. You should be able to do some hand strikes just to be able just to slow somebody down. Okay? Just enough time to slow them down and yell for help for some neighbors or anybody. I mean, there's ways we can do this thing. There's ways I can show you how to defend yourselves. You need this. You need this. You know, some of y'all, I don't know what you're waiting on. You're waiting for something to happen to your family? Does it have to happen to your family before you become concerned? Or do you just think you're immune to being shot or something bad happened to you? You black. You black like me. You black, family. You need to learn how to defend yourselves. Okay? You need to learn how to shoot. You need firearms training. You do. Like yesterday. So stop making excuses. Stop making excuses. Learn how to shoot these weapons. Learn how to defend yourself. And stop calling the police. Stop calling the police. If you can handle your business, you handle it. Or just walk away. But don't be calling the police because you wind up probably being the suspect or the victim of the police. I mean that. And with that said, I'm not going to hold you. I thank you for letting me rap for 2 hours. I need you to share this video and go back over and listen to it. Again, I'm willing to work with any male, any female on this feed. I come to your state, even outside this country. I don't know where this place, I don't know where this video is going. But I will come and help you to set up community outreaches, or even just how to bring the community together. I will help you go knock on some doors, find out who's in your neighborhood, and let them know you're available to them and they're available to you. So you'll be, so you won't have to. So when you have another open door like Atatiana Jefferson, you call your boy up or your girl up. So and so's door unlocked. We're gonna check it out. Don't call the police. Do not call the police, because you don't want the same situation that happened with Tay Jefferson. You should be able to go and check it out yourself. Okay? You got, matter of fact, you got to almost function like that you ain't got no police. Handle your own business. Okay? That's how we got to almost function like there is no police. That's how we got to function from now on. Handle our own business. And I mean that. So again, with that said, thank you for tuning in. I do appreciate it. Good night. God bless you. Stay encouraged. Stay prayerful. Stay watchful. Again, don't be calling the police unless it's a dead body in the street or a dead body behind your backyard or in the woods. If you can handle it, you handle it. Don't you call them. Call your boys up. Call some families. Call some friends. But don't call the police. That may sound reckless, but guess what? At least you'll be alive to talk about the next day, instead of you making that phone call to them and they take you out. And these 2 cases we just had this month with this Botham Jean and Jefferson, that should be a wake-up call to all of us. Stop all this playing and stop all this sports and entertainment. Get serious. We at war, family. We at war. You don't even realize somebody done declared war on you. You don't even realize it. Because you don't think it can happen to you. It's happening every day out here. So again, Thank you, thank you, thank you. Stay encouraged. Again, remember, this is real talk, real issues, real solutions. And always remember, it is not how much you know, it's how much you care about.